What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are talking about D23, the Disney extravaganza, with all of the news and updates that we got. But before we get into all of that, Dave, no comma, how you doing tonight, sir?
Uh, I am fan freaking tastic. And you know what? You're about to say Dave, comma Doug, which is the normal priority here. But where's Doug tonight, Keith?
He is off in a retreat with Kevin Feige and the Marvel gang, reworking Blade. So maybe, hopefully, there will be someone besides Wesley Snipes playing Blade in a movie.
Now, I heard they're going to put Gambit in that movie too. Is that right?
I mean, that's up to Doug. He's got the writing things. Having a vampire hunter kill vampires. I don't know how hard that can be to write, but it seems to be a problem for Marvel Studios right now.
Not for Doug though. That's why we sent him in. I
That's right.
called in my buddy Feeds, and he said, "Hey, get him down here." And I'm not going to tell you where down here is because then you guys would all flock there. So, we got to keep it safe for Doug, because he would be mobbed with his fans. So we got to make sure. Other than that, it's been a pretty interesting weekend. Sierra, who comes on the show from Vegas, she is in town and she had such a painful first day here. I felt so bad for her, not physically painful, just drama. And she still got to go up north to her mom's side's family reunion. So I'm glad that we got it all worked out for her. She might even be able to get in here tonight and pop in and say hi. I doubt it, but that would be nice. So how are you doing, Keith? What you been
I'm
doing this
I'm
week?
doing tremendous. Thank you for asking, sir. And I think I may have fixed the YouTube's issue. So let's see here.
The YouTube interwebs. Well, as anybody else out there, we love to engage with you on uh, we love to engage with you in the chat. We see fellow nerd Doug has said, "Boo! Blade needs more Morbius." Well, they still got to exchange a lot of rights and stuff, but that would be great if we could just see Blade destroy that whole Morbius universe. That would be wonderful. Even though I love the movie.
Well, doesn't seem like the YouTube is working tonight for whatever reason.
That's
So
fine.
we're not going to worry about it. Let me just. If it comes on, it comes on. If not, it's not. It's supposed to be running, but we got a lot to talk about. We got Star Wars, we got Marvel Television, we got animation. A lot to talk about. Dave, are you ready to get into it all?
I'm ready. Drop it on me. I know what's coming, and I want to share it.
So, first, they were talking a little Andor season 2. And according to them, the stakes are even higher. Cassian is fueled by his fight for freedom and a better tomorrow. Seems
Whereas
right.
before he wasn't. He was just kind of reacting to what was going on because he wasn't involved. And still, that season one was incredible. So with him caring a little more, I wish they had some footage of this stuff. But it is due sometime next year, right? Do we have a month?
They didn't give a release date, but 2025 for sure. I'm hoping it's what's next after Skeleton Crew, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, that's dropping in December, so got to think. I think it's a 2 episode premiere, like 6 to 8 episodes probably. So we'll hopefully get it March or sometime, right when Daredevil's dropping. Hopefully, if we could get Daredevil and Andor season 2 at the same time, that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, those are going to be two epic shows. And so are you saying Andor season two is going to come in 2 installments because they have 12 episodes, right?
No, it's not 2 installments. Andor season 2 is just going to be 12 episodes.
Oh, Skeleton Crew has 5 episodes or 6 episodes.
I don't think we know yet. I just said it would probably be 5 or 6
Oh,
episodes, so it'll end sometime in January. But I
oh,
don't.
okay, okay. Because I know that what Daredevil has 9 episodes in season 1.
They originally said it was going to be 18 episodes with season 1 and season 2
Yeah,
together, but we've never got any official word. But I think it's maybe safe to assume we're going to get like 9 episodes in season 1 and then 9 episodes in season 2, hopefully.
that would be a great spring. That would be you know, a non. We this year I think we had kind of a boring spring. That would be a great spring.
Yes, that would make things pretty awesome. And we found out that season 2 is going to take place over 4 years. Now that's 4 years in their universe, Dave. It's not going to be 4 years in our universe. Just want.
Oh, okay. So by 2028, we'll know. 1 episode a year.
Well, like 3 episodes a year.
Right.
And then, as we know, it leads right into the beginning of Rogue One, which I can't wait to watch all 24 episodes of Andor and then Rogue One in one sitting. Maybe not one sitting, but maybe over the course of a few days. But I mean, I think we all agree it's probably the best show that Lucasfilm has put on Disney Plus. I mean, I love The Mandalorian,
Yes.
don't get me wrong, but this show was just top notch.
Agreed. Agreed. And you know what? We have talked on this show before about Kathleen Kennedy and her projects versus Filoni's projects.
Hey,
And
fellow nerd Doug just redeemed an absolutely.
oh, absolutely. 2 of them.
That's one. That's 2. Thank you, fellow nerd Doug. We appreciate it. We hope you're enjoying out there.
And I just wanted to say about Kathleen Kennedy is that what I read this week is that she wants to go out with a win. So I don't know what that means. I mean, wouldn't that be if a win for Star Wars is a win for Kathleen Kennedy? You would think, right?
Yeah.
You'd think that Andor would be a win. I don't know. Or I don't know if she thought that the Acolyte would get a second season. I don't know. I don't know what that statement meant. But I know more than one of us has been waiting to see if someone else can take the reins and right the ship.
Someone, the guy who played the stranger, Quymere, Manny, I forget his last name now, he actually had a panel at D23 this weekend. And a lot of people were
nice.
like, oh, they're definitely renewing it. But there was no word of any renewal at all. But, honestly, information was not a lot. Like, we'll get into it, but the Star Wars panel didn't talk anything about the Rey movie. The new Jedi Order didn't talk about the Filoni movie. They really kind of stuck with what they're already working on. They talked about Andor season 2, which we're talking about. They talked about the Mandalorian and Grogu, and they talked about Skeleton Crew. There was no new animated series
That's too bad.
announced. Well, they could be working on it. It seems like they're kind of, instead of going in like before and they announce 700 things, and at this
Yeah.
point, half the stuff doesn't get released or anything. They're kind of keeping
Right.
it kind of more focused on what's coming out soon, which is cool. I just wish they showed footage for the Mandalorian and Grogu, even though it's only been filming for like a week.
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
didn't release it. They had something for Andor, which they didn't release. It would have been nice. I mean, I understand. It's a treat for the people who pay the money and go. But they could release it too. It'd be nice. And then the only other real information we got about Andor season 2 is that Forrest Whitaker and Ben Mendelsohn are both coming back for season 2.
Nice, very nice.
You
Ben
definitely
Mendelsohn was in Rogue One, right? He was the one who
Yes.
approached Jyn Erso on what planet was that? You know what planet that was?
I can't
Off the
remember
top of
now.
your- I have to
But
look
not
it up.
Jenner, so her father.
Yeah, yeah. Well, God, we're drawing blanks. Sorry, we really do know this stuff. We just can't remember names. I know the actor's name, but not the character's name.
Yes, Mads Mikkelsen played him wonderfully, and I can't think of his name,
He did.
but that's okay. You know what? And anything else you want to talk about for Andor before we move on?
Not that nothing else except my hype level will always be at 10 for Andor.
Honestly, I mean, there was talk that Lucasfilm wanted Tony Gilroy to work on some more projects. Please
Yeah.
get him in.
Yes.
Andor has been hands down the best thing on, Disney Plus. So let's get that done, folks. And now, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau took the stage. They're talking The Mandalorian and Grogu. And it just started filming, like we just said, but they did show a clip. And it included a lot of Mando kicking names and taking at. Wait, no, that's wrong. But
Okay. I'm sorry, Mantis.
but it did show Mando and Grogu piloting an ATST type vehicle on a planet that looked like Hoth. And the Anzelians are back. The little Babu Frink guys, they were shown. And Zeb from Rebels was shown with them in a ship. So we're getting Zeb back in this, which we're pretty much getting, well, I was going to say all of the crew from Rebels, but all of the crew from Rebels that are still alive.
Right.
Seems
Well,
like seems like we could
Kanan's
be
part of the
getting.
Force.
Yeah, yes, he is. We could be getting the Rebels crew back together maybe for Dave Filoni's movie in the past because we got Hera, we got Zeb, we got what's his name back from the other universe. Now we just need to get
Yeah.
Sabine back.
Yeah, where's Sierra for the Sabine part? Where is she at?
Yeah. Oh no, I hope she doesn't barge in your room and take you down.
She come in here with a knife, just. But
And it is releasing
great.
in May of 2026.
Oh, year and a half. Well, not almost 2 full years. You know what? I hope it's worth the wait. I haven't, with the name of it, I haven't been excited about it. And with the last season of The Mandalorian, it going downhill slightly, makes me a little bit worried if they get back to the first 2 seasons, and jam it into a movie. That'll be excellent.
I'm pretty hyped for it because I think a lot of season 3 was a little interference from the studio a little bit to try to do certain things. And I think right now, I think Filoni with the chief, creative officer, he's got a plan for this and his movie and all these things coming together. Ahsoka season 2, there's a lot of wheels going in, and I have faith that Filoni has this all mapped out, knows what he wants to
Yeah.
do, and it's going to be, a tight ship, and it's going to be, what we've all wanted. And until proven otherwise, I've got faith in Mr. Filoni.
Yeah, and I don't understand. We've seen these other channels that we don't really consider anything but clickbait because they just go negative on everything. And that's what I was going to point out is we love Dave Filoni. If you look back at his track record, I mean, starting with even Avatar, The Last Airbender when he was writing for that, and the Clone Wars, Rebels, Ahsoka. What of any of those stories didn't have everything like mean something along the way? He lays the breadcrumbs perfectly, and then he just brings them back later. He brings back the famous stuff, not the famous, but the popular stuff from Legends and makes it work, and it's not just fan service. So if he's plotting out a whole Star Wars universe after this, that doesn't have to be retro anymore, I think it's going to be amazing. They should have done it a lot sooner.
I agree. And fellow nerd Doug says, "Do we know if Ahsoka season 2 will take place before or after the Mando movie?" We don't know, sir. Like I said, they didn't announce too much outside of Andor season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, and the Skeleton Crew, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I've always assumed that Ahsoka season 2 was going to take place, or at least we were going to see it before the Mandalorian movie. And then that'll probably lead into a little bit of that movie, leading into Filoni's movie. But we don't really know what else they got planned out after that, if anything changed, because they kept it pretty tight with things that are already in production or, wrapped up like Skeleton Crew. So, are you ready to watch a little Skeleton Crew?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I screamed from the depth of my loins. All right.
Okay, we'll watch this.
Tomorrow's test will set the course of your entire future.
Don't you ever want to do anything exciting? Like what? What if we could go anywhere we want in the whole galaxy? A real adventure. No more pretend. I found something buried in the woods. What do you think it is? I think it's the Lost Jedi Temple. Hello? Be careful where you step. We're lost. Really lost.
'Tis dangerous out there in space. Trust no one.
You're a Jedi.
That it's just a darn good trailer, and of course the the Star Wars haters are like, oh, they live in suburbs now. It's a big universe. I'm sure there are places that have little subdivisions that look like that. And honestly, most of what we saw was probably from the first episode, because we did see a lot of them, venturing out, finding, that cave or whatever where the ship was in, and them kind of being blasted off into hyperspace. So I think a lot of what we saw is probably going to be from the first episode, and then obviously it's going to carry on from that. We see Jude Law's character, who is definitely confirmed as a Jedi. I can't wait to see, how that all plays out, if he's kind of on the outer rim or where everything's going. But, I mean, that looked good.
He's on Tatooine.
Yes, they all start on Tatooine.
No, I got Super 8 vibes from that when the kids were all like in the dark, with the flashlights, and I'm thinking I feel a lot like Super 8. Those kind of ET type of things, they're fun. So that looks like it could be a fun show, especially with like he's going to be the mentor type, of course, whether he wants to be or not. And I'm just thinking, when I saw him, I'm just thinking, the Kree guy that he played,
Jan Rog.
Jan Rog, yes.
See, we can remember names out there, Twitch.
Yes. Between the both of us, we'll get it tonight. And Doug, he'll get them too. Right, Doug?
And it's
Comment
funny
in the comments below.
because Tundra Walker, he responded to my tweet with the tweeting out the trailer. Oh, Goonies, Star Wars Goonies, huh? And I'm like,
Yeah.
not a bad thing. I mean,
Right.
Goonies was pretty nice. I liked it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because that kind of vibe, and I kind of like it. I mean, everybody likes to be, have a good family time, fun time every now and then.
Yeah, nothing wrong with having a little fun in Star Wars. We love Andor, and it's very serious and it's very gritty. But there's nothing against Star Wars having a little fun, as long as it's good. Once again, story dictates everything. If the story's good and it's a good natured and it's Star Wars, we'll probably like it. if it's Rebel Moon Junior, right?
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. I didn't want to diss any actual Star Wars, even though there has been some less than great Star Wars, out there. But, we always hope for the best. We always hope it's going to be good. And then, unfortunately, sometimes we are disappointed. The Acolyte certainly underwhelmed, which we did not get any news on the Acolyte, whether we're getting a season 2 or if it is canceled or what's going on with that. I still, if they give us a season 2 or something after that, just get some new showrunners. Nothing against Leslie Headland. This just wasn't her gig. This just did not pan out. I think some excellent stories could be told, but maybe move on from this creative team. Yeah. Doug has talked about it a lot.
Yeah. And I think they won't do it just because this was her baby. You know what I mean? This show was Leslie. She brought it to Kathleen Kennedy or whoever she had to bring it to. She brought it to the Lucasfilm. So I don't think they'll go on without her, unfortunately. Maybe they can come up with a different angle from another, character.
Yeah.
That time frame.
Well, we saw Darth Plagueis, the Wides.
Yeah.
So, maybe they could have something there. But like I said, we heard nothing about any new animated shows, which I was really hoping we would hear about something because, The Bad Batch was really good. Just like all the Star Wars animated stuff. The Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, The Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Rebels, everything but that one.
They've been hitting all the cylinders.
Which we won't talk about. But it's okay having one
what?
bad Star Wars Resistance.
Oh, yeah, and I'm a little disappointed myself because I think they need a replacement series. They do so good with their animation, just like you said. But what were we were talking about what we thought would be a good show. Maybe was it a Luke Skywalker show?
Oh, we were talking like Tales of the Jedi with Luke. Things like happening prior to him showing up and getting Grogu, or even after that. There's a lot of time frame before he left for, his seclusion, where he could be looking for, Jedi temples and Jedi texts and doing all the things, setting up the Jedi Academy. There's a lot of time between the end of Return of the Jedi and when he goes into seclusion that they could make some good stuff. And who knows? Maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get a animated series, after Return of the Jedi up into, or maybe we'll get an animated series, Mandalorian style after, season 3 or something, where we get a lot of info leading up into those movies, because I think that's what the Star Wars animated series do best. They enhance the movie experience.
Yeah.
Because the Clone Wars made Revenge of the Sith so much better. Rebels hasn't really had an effect on anything yet, but we got a bunch of excellent characters we're now seeing. We're seeing Ahsoka with her show. Ezra showed up in Ahsoka. Sabine showed up. Hera showed up. Zeb showed up in The Mandalorian season 3, so all those characters are coming around. The animated stuff is just always good. So they got to be working on it, right? I mean,
You think? Yeah, maybe they're not going with our suggestion, but I'm sure they're working on another series because they, like I said earlier, they hit on all cylinders with all of their animation, except for that one, I guess.
Yeah, Star Wars Resistance. We're not talking about that. But, it could even be it could be a High Republic. It could be a High Republic animated series to, get some more information out there for everybody. It could be post, Rey's new Jedi Order or something, building the gap between, the Last Jedi, which was the last movie we got, and then, this new Jedi Order thing, just animated series to bridge the gap because, Rey's got to be doing something to help build the Order or have some thought or having some issues. Who knows? But it would have been nice. But I think they are definitely, we saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, and now we saw it here at D23. They're not coming in and announcing 8 years down the roadmap. they're pretty much just talking about what's in production and what's coming up soon. I think to stop all that when they have to pivot. They're
Yep.
not people going, "Hey, what about that movie you talked about?" Yeah, we're not doing it.
I think they got burned, a couple times on that. So that's probably where they tempered it down.
And I think that's a Disney thing too, because Lucasfilm did it and Marvel Studios did it. But are you ready?
And
That's all the Star Wars news that's fit to print. Got any last thoughts there, sir? Anyone out in the chat have any thoughts?
I don't. Let's see what the chat has to say. I love to interact with our friends online, so I'd love to hear what they think right now.
It's always good to hear from the community. But okay,
All right, we give
we're now talking Marvel Studios. And really the only thing that we got via Marvel Studios was Captain America Brave New World. And they just showed a clip of Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross giving a speech on adamantium being harvested from Tiamat, that is the celestial from the Eternals. And then he kind of rolks out into the Red Hulk. And it was just kind of nothing new that they didn't talk about at San Diego Comic-Con. Same thing with Thunderbolts. They did talk a little bit about Thunderbolts and a little bit about Fantastic Four, but nothing new was learned. We know the Fantastic Four is shooting now, but no clips, nothing like that. So very light on the Marvel Studios side of things. But
they didn't talk about Doug coming down there?
no, they're trying to keep that a little bit under wraps. But we did get a little more with Marvel Television.
Drum roll, please.
And the first thing they did was bring out the cast from Daredevil Born Again, which John Bernthal has now been confirmed to be returning as the Punisher. We've heard a lot that he was coming back, and everyone was pretty sure he was, but it's now confirmed. And they did have a little trailer shown, which was awesome. We saw White Tiger, which was rumored to be in this. It has now been confirmed that White Tiger is going to be in this. The Punisher attacks Matt Murdock with like a hatchet at one point. And Matt's like, "Hey, I'm Red," or whatever. And he stops. Like, he didn't know Matt Murdock was, Daredevil. So I wonder what's going on there. But the big thing is, we saw Muse, who has been rumored to be the villain for this. And we saw a scene with Matt Murdock and the Kingpin sitting at a diner talking. And it looks like they might be teaming up to go against the bigger threat of Muse, which will be interesting. For those of you who don't know Muse is like kind of a serial killer that sort of makes it sort of an art form and stuff. It's really, I'm very surprised they're doing this on a Disney Plus show with that villain. And
I was about to say, yeah.
I was worried they were going to tone it down, but man, some of the fight scenes seemed right on par with the Netflix series that they've shown in this. I mean, it was. And then probably the biggest surprise, I don't know if you were able to catch it online before Marvel pulled it down. There was a surprise character in this trailer, which I didn't expect, and I don't think anyone expected to see. Kamala Khan's dad.
What?
Yeah. He's in it. I don't know how they're going to write it in, but it was funny. At one point, Matt Murdock, and he's not dressed as Daredevil in the scene. He's Matt Murdock. He takes a guy out. Kamala Khan's dad is like, "What kind of lawyer are you?" And he's like, "A really good one."
A good one, yeah. I knew that was coming.
But man, that trailer looked really good. It really looked like they took to heart that people wanted the Netflix series continued. And it may not be an exact continuation of it, but it has the tone and the themes and everything else. We saw Foggy, we saw Karen, we saw the Punisher, we saw White Tiger, but the best part, Wilson Fisk is, when they're having that little thing, Daredevil's like, "Oh, you better, be good, or, keep it right or something." And he's like, "Who's warning me, Matt Murdock or his darker half?" And I mean,
So he
Vincent D'Onofrio playing the Kingpin is just tremendous.
Sure.
And that scene was, yeah, it was like, oh, even seeing it, like recording from someone's phone, recording a big screen at D23, it was like, oh man, that was pretty good. And we did find out it is coming next March. At least season 1 is coming next March. And then and Carrie said I need to watch the trailer. I didn't realize they released a new one. They didn't, Carrie. It was leaked out of D23. They never officially released it, but some of us nerds were kind of online last night and found it and watched it. And I wish that I want them to release it because it was really good. And I did tweet it out and it got pulled down, and I tweeted out another one. I'm assuming it got pulled down. But if you can find it, watch it. It looks great. I mean, I can't even say enough about it.
I love how Disney is suddenly all in on the rated R type stuff. Like, especially, did you see in the whole history of Disney, the amount of times the F word was used previous to this movie was once in Guardians of the Galaxy.
In the MCU.
Oh, I thought it was all time.
No, just MCU.
I mean, because it makes sense that Disney wouldn't have used it. But anyway, but then in Deadpool 118 times.
All right, now we're back, and thank you, Carrie. You're still here, and yes, the gentleman who is playing White Tiger in Daredevil Born Again has passed away, which is very disappointing. He's an excellent actor, so I hope everything goes okay with that. And we're sorry for our technical difficulties today. Seems to be happening every week now. I don't know what's wrong with my interwebs. I did reboot my router today, but hey, sometimes you have problems, and that's all right.
It's all right. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
Anyway, what I was trying to say, when it cut off for me anyway, was that they really dove into the deep end at Disney as far as like the rated R stuff. They weren't going to dip their toes in. They just dived right in. And I think it's great. With that, it obviously worked with Deadpool. That opening scene where he's slicing everybody apart. And now we're going to see more of that in Daredevil. Are we going to see Wilson Fisk slamming a car door in someone's head until he knocks their head off? Probably not. But it's still pretty graphic.
We might. We might just see that. You never know. But yeah, I think, Deadpool and Wolverine, which just crossed $1 billion today, helps too. But this was obviously filmed before it was released. But, I think they're figuring out that, hey, there's an audience for this. And once again, it can be dark, it can be gritty, it can be, TVMA. Just make it good. And they certainly did that, with Daredevil and The Punisher over on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And we won't talk about Iron Fist because Carrie's here.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, that's right.
Luke Cage had a good half of the first season and a good second half of the second season. So,
yeah, sandwich those, get that middle out of there.
Man, that was. I hope, please, Marvel. Doug, we know Doug's working with the feeds right now, getting Blade set up. Release the Daredevil thing. I know it's not releasing till March, so they'll probably release it in December or November or sometime along those lines. But it was phenomenal. I mean, that would just get the hype. Maybe it's too early to get hype for it because it's so far away, but it would be worth it.
Maybe September. Maybe the beginning of the football season they'll do that. I mean, that'll give them 6 months.
Carrie said a great show. Ward fan for life. And Luke Cage finale was far more criminal than Iron Fist. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, they definitely did him dirty, did that character dirty. So, but we got one more little talk about another television show, Ironheart. And they actually showed a clip. And most of the people who I saw really liked the first clip that they showed, or I don't know if it was a clip or maybe a teaser trailer. But Riri gets expelled from MIT after the Wakanda stuff. She can't afford school or building a new suit. She's struggling financially. So she teams up with the Hood and starts raising money that way. So she's breaking bad a little bit and working with the Hood. You know, everyone thought it was going to be her versus the Hood in the show, and maybe it'll end up that way. Like, she's just trying to gather money and do things, and maybe he goes a little too far. But they said the action sequences look good. The Ironheart armor looked 200 times better than it did in Wakanda Forever.
She's not Baymax anymore?
She's not Betamax anymore. They said the Hood's sort of magical mischief was really good. And he's got some crazy tattoos and scars on his back. You know, if what we heard was true, is that Mephisto gave him his powers in this. And I don't know if we'll see it. We know that Sacha Baron Cohen was filming scenes for both Agatha, supposedly, and Ironheart as Mephisto. So, you know, hopefully that comes into play. It'd be nice to see the Hood. He's a cool villain. You know, he's basically kind of a small Tom Hood that gets demon powers from Mephisto, and he kind of ups his game from there. And especially seeing like technology versus magic in an Ironheart series, I think that would be, you know, if they do it right, it should be pretty entertaining. And with the news of Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom, maybe part of that is also him signing on to be like a Tony Stark AI in Ironheart, because in the comics Riri did have a Tony AI. So that would be,
You know, that scene at the end of Endgame, that's kind of like AI too, because at the very end of it, he looked right at his daughter. How would he know where she was going to sit? And you know how Tony Stark works. He, you know, maybe he was able to transfer himself, his consciousness or whatever, into by the time he died. Who knows? But the AI should have Tony's. It won't be. It should still have Tony's personality, which would be a lot of fun.
yeah. And I think that's all any of us really want.
Are you getting a background noise?
No, I was actually couldn't see. There we go. I couldn't actually see our stream on the thing, but now I can. I just had to start it and restart it. We're just having all types of technical issues here today. But
It's because Doug's not here.
yep, you're right, Doug. Way to go. You're off writing Blade, and we're, you know, marred in technical difficulties all night.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But, you know, while we're talking television, that's really all they really talked about. They didn't talk. Oh, they did talk about Agatha too. Agatha came out and they sang the song for, you know, the Witch's Road, and
Oh boy.
showed some scenes. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but there definitely was some singing going on. So those of us who
Oh,
enjoyed
boy.
the trailer and thought this may not be a musical, there's probably going to be a few more songs in it than we thought. But if they do it right, that's fine. If they sing all episodes all the time, we're probably not going to
Yeah.
like it as much. But hey, if it's a musical, it's a musical.
I mean, look, the Joker's doing a musical. I think that's going to be a joke, but they're just still doing it. We'll see how it turns out. I don't know how good of a singer. Is Catherine Hahn actually going to sing,
Yeah,
or is it just?
she sang
Okay.
the Witch's Road, Back to the Road. I can't remember what it's called, but she came out and sang it to D23 and with all the cast and everything.
She a pretty good singer then?
Yeah, she is.
I was gonna say, I mean, they got Lady Gaga on the Joker thing, and we all know she can sing. I just don't know if Catherine Hahn can sing.
Yeah, she was a musical theater person. She definitely can sing and can act. You know, hopefully this is pretty good. You know, obviously that's coming out next from Marvel, because that's coming out September 18th. You know, then we're getting, we don't know when we're getting, well, we'll talk about the animated series here in a minute, but we know Daredevil's coming out next March. We don't know when Ironheart's coming out, but I assume during the animated stuff, they said everything you've seen here today will come out within the next year and a half. And I don't know if that applies to the television shows too, but it does sound like Ironheart is going to be released here pretty soon. But I mean, we didn't hear anything about the Wonder Man show. Didn't hear anything about Nova.
I know your heart was broken.
It was. I was convinced we were going to see a clip from it. But no, whenever it's coming out, it's probably not 2025. It's probably going to get pushed back a little bit. And once again, all they talked about was things that are either in production, coming out soon, or pretty much wrapped because, well, actually, Agatha Along is done. It's coming out September. That's pretty much wrapped. Ironheart was wrapped a few years ago. They may be doing reshoots to change a few things going on. And Daredevil Born Again season 1 is done. Filming, at least. They're still editing and stuff. And your boy Kevin Feige did say that filming on season 2 is starting soon. So probably this September. So we're not going to have a long wait between season 1 and season 2 for Daredevil Born Again, thankfully. We're not going to have to, House of the Dragon or Invincible or any of the other shows where it's like 2.5, 3 years. So that is good. That's all good in quality. But still, they're keeping it hyper-focused only on things that are coming out soon. So we'll probably hear, about the greatest Disney Plus show ever, Wonder Man, probably, next year, San Diego Comic-Con or, somewhere around there.
They're going to upgrade it into a movie trilogy just for you, buddy.
That would be fantastic. The greatest movie trilogy of all time. And then finally, and probably what we got the most information on, was the animated stuff. They talked about What If Season 3. We found out that Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, Ironheart, White Vision, and Shang-Chi will all appear in this final season.
Oh, it was announced as the final season.
Yes, it is the final season. And they actually showed a clip.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, will it do anything to affect any of the movies? Like how Doctor Strange had the dead Doctor Strange. You going to have any effects like that, do you think?
I hope so, but I don't know for sure. No, I had... Oh, no, that wasn't for... I thought I had some breakdown of what they show, but I don't have anything. They did show a little clip of it. Captain Carter was in it for a little bit, but yeah, they did say this is the final season, so it'll be interesting to see how they wrap up the whole what if stuff. And kind of makes sense because they've kind of delved deep into the multiverse, saga with what if. So with the multiverse saga wrapping up here, it would make sense that, what if is also wrapping up.
Now, does the multiverse saga wrap up in Doomsday? Or are they going to go a whole other phase into Secret Wars with it?
Secret Wars.
After they've been talking about how, time to take the L. But how many movies are coming out, or how many things are coming out between Doomsday and Secret Wars? That's the question, I guess. It's only a year apart, right?
Yep. And we don't know.
Probably can't be too much.
I doubt it would be too much. Maybe Shang-Chi 2 or something. And there's been rumors that everything that takes place between like Doomsday and Secret Wars is going to be on Battleworld. So it'll be like leading up to Secret Wars by kind of showing some stuff. And that includes Disney Plus shows and other stuff. So, but once again, they really didn't.
Yeah, that's very thoughtful. That could be big if just show that would make, you know what I mean, expanding that world and having everything that happens in between just to show how deeply it affects everybody instead of just skimming over it. Oh, that'd be amazing. That's a great idea. I'm gonna have to call Feige.
Yeah, let them know that we're all on board with that.
Yeah.
And remember what I said earlier, that during the Marvel animation series, they said everything they're talking about here will come out within the next 1.5 years. And they talked about What If Season 3. They talked about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. They talked about Eyes of Wakanda. They talked about Marvel Zombies. They also talked about X-Men 97 Season 2, which this one made me happy. They're going to wear the costumes that Frank quietly drew during Grant Morrison's run on the comic. And if you haven't seen them, check out our In Focus on Cassandra Nova, because that was the run that Cassandra Nova kind of came into play. So they're kind of very yellowy and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see that. And I don't know if they showed a clip of it or how people knew this, but that's what's said. And they also said Warlock from the New Mutants, if you guys are familiar with him. Danger, who is the living persona of the Danger Room. Polaris, Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, and Apocalypse are all going to appear in Season 2 of X-Men 97. So, that's cool. That's what we wanted to hear.
Apocalypse? Wow. Wow.
I kind of assumed he would be there because, he did pick up the card. Remember at the end of the season, he picked up Gambit's card and was like...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I just think, well, yeah, he'll have to... They're going to have to spread that story over a few seasons.
Yep. Yeah, they hopefully, don't rush it. Don't do like the movies, X-Men 97. Let that build up. You got enough things you could talk about and go over and just build up to Apocalypse and Age of Apocalypse, if that's what they're doing. But we'll see. Right now we have faith in X-Men 97. That first season, outside of that, video game episode, half episode, It was fantastic.
It's got my that season finale as my first 10 rating. So if you haven't seen it, if you like anime or not animation, don't let that affect it. It was amazing.
And Carrie asked, I've never understood What If. Do you guys? Yeah, it's just kind of alternate stories of things that, take place in a different universe. It was always, in the regular Marvel universe, this happened, but what if? I think it did it better in the comics too. I've enjoyed, the first two seasons of What If. They've been good, but some of the comics really get a little dark and crazy. They've really tried to tie all of What If together in this thing, and it's not really like that in the comics. They're really just one-off stories, and they've tried to tie it all together for the animated series. But next we got Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which was originally going to come out November 1st, but they did not announce a date yesterday. And we know that Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Nico from The Runaways is going to be in it, Amanda's Cho, Amadeus Cho, Norman Osborn, who we found out yesterday that Coleman Domingo is going to be voicing Norman Osborn. There was a lot of talk that Coleman was going to be the new Kang in the MCU. But we do know he's doing Norman Osborn for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the Future Foundation are all going to be in this. The Future Foundation is like the Fantastic Four sort of group to help protect the multiverse and all that other stuff. So we did hear that this is not going to take place in the 616 or the MCU, but it's going to be outside of that. And once again, unfortunately, no release date for this. So we'll just have to wait on that.
Are they getting the celebrity voices for that show? Like would Charlie Cox do Daredevil type of thing?
Yeah, Charlie Cox did do Daredevil's voice in it. And I don't know the rest of the cast, but Charlie Cox had said he did the voice for the animated series.
Nice.
So it's not part of the ongoing plot. No, it's kind of like a multiverse tale for What If. It doesn't really... I mean, it kind of takes place in the MCU in the sense that the multiverse is all part of it, but it's not a part of the main 616 universe.
Don't you see why I love the multiverse?
Yep. And then
Take
next...
the L, man.
Yeah. It sounds like they're revamping things and making changes. Hopefully, it'll be better. I think everyone just is ready for the mutant saga.
Yeah, definitely ready for that.
So we just have to, take these last couple of years to get through the multiverse saga, give us a good ending, and then move on, get us to Multiverse Saga. But next up was Eyes of Wakanda, which is a 4-part series. Iron Fist will appear, not necessarily Danny Rand, because this is kind of taking place over, a long time. So it could have been one of the past Iron Fists that come into it. There will be war dogs that are sanctioned to protect the secrets of Wakanda. Obviously, this is prior to, the Black Panther kind of coming out a little bit and thing. But it sounds like a pretty cool series. And this, Ryan Coogler is producing, and it is them, leading up, keeping, vibranium a secret for all those years, and, interactions with other, countries and everything, and how they handle and how everyone thinks of them as just a poor country in the middle of Africa. So hopefully good. I trust Ryan Coogler. He's, made.
Yeah. I have no reason not to trust him yet. I usually give the new directors, he's not new, but when I hear of a new director, I give him the benefit of the doubt until they put out something bad. So, that's like why we were going into the Acolyte. That's why I didn't know whether it would be good or not with Leslie Headland, because she had a hit and then she had a miss, and then like a hit and a miss. So I didn't know. But if this was like Michael Bay, I'd be like, no. But Ryan Coogler, I don't think I've seen anything bad come from the guy. Yeah, so I'll be.
And it sounds like it's only 4 parts. We don't know how long episodes are going to be, but that's the right thing. They got a tight story. Get it out. Hopefully, it'll add a little world building to the MCU and just make it do what the Star Wars animated series did, and just make the movies better by doing it. So, not much else was shown. We did see the logo for it, but not much else. And then finally, they ended with Marvel Zombies. It is a 4-part series, just like Eyes of Wakanda, and it is said to be hardcore TV MA.
Wow. Disney going all in.
Yeah, just like you were talking about earlier. It sounds like they're okay with having programming that's not PG-13 or lower. They're okay with telling some stories that aren't for all ages. And hey, that's good. We're not complaining. But they did show some footage. Wenwu, Shang-Chi, and Katie were fighting against zombies. Shang-Chi gets bit, and Katie gives him the 10 rings to stop the infection. I don't know why Katie has the 10 rings. They never really said anything. Wenwu gets killed, and then it kind of jumps 5 years in the future, and Shang-Chi and Katie are using the 10 rings in like a Mad Max style fight against the zombies. So it sounds like it's going to be like a complete takeover of the world. And, hopefully Simu will be doing a voice for Shang-Chi, Awkwafina for Katie. Can't remember the actor's name for Wenwu, but hopefully the same thing. But sounds like could be pretty close to the comics. Could be interesting.
Wenwu, isn't that Brenda Song? Oh, no, that's Wendy Wu. Never mind. I'm showing my age and that I have kids.
Yes. And then Death Dealer.
She didn't know karate, so it was all right.
And then Death Dealer is also going to appear in Marvel Zombies from Shang-Chi.
I have never been excited about zombie things too much. Like, I know there's a big, well, I don't know if they missed the zombie window, but, when The Walking Dead was out, I watched that. But then, I could be saturated on zombies, just like Middle Earth type of stuff. I can only watch so much of that before I need to watch something else, which is why I'm surprised I was able to get this far in Game of Thrones consecutively, because I watched 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, and then caught up to you guys on House of the Dragon, and I'm surprised I'm not really burned out on it. But you know what? I don't have a choice now because there's nothing on in that area. As far as zombie goes, I've had a big break in zombie shows that I've seen. So this might be good timing. But overall, in the culture, zombies might be past their prime. We'll see. We'll see if this is popular.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've never been overly fond of zombie stuff, but the zombies, Marvel Zombies comics, always very well received. I mean, they're okay, they're entertaining, and once again, they're not trying to, make this a 22 episode season. It's only 4 parts.
Okay.
So hopefully it's,
Yeah.
The writing is tight, it tells a good story, and, we'll move on from there. Just happy they're willing to do this, as it was called, Hardcore TV MA. So I think we're going to be getting a lot of animated gore and violence and everything else. So that'd be interesting to see.
On the level of Invincible, you think? That's some gory stuff they do on that show.
Calling it hardcore TVMA, yes, I would say it's probably on par with Invincible. That's how I took it. And that's all the news that's fit to print. Once again, I thought we'd get I was like prepping to have a bunch of like trailers and stuff to watch and talk about. And then we only got Skeleton Crew, which, while I enjoyed it, I really expected a lot more stuff. I expected them to release the Daredevil trailer. I thought they might release the Ironheart trailer once I heard that they had shown clips. They showed a clip from Andor. They showed a clip from The Mandalorian and Grogu. And nothing but Skeleton Crew. Come on.
See, this is why they don't need to do their own separate event. The D23. They could have done this at San Diego Comic-Con, and it would have seemed bigger. When you announce stuff and then you don't show any footage for stuff that you already, have in the can to raise the hype. Come on, man. It's like Keith said. Come on. You can do it. Just do it. Everybody will love it.
Yeah, they don't have to announce everything for the next 25 years. But, give us a taste of something down the line, too. We got, we know that Doomsday and Secret Wars is coming, even though we kind of already knew those type movies were coming. They didn't really give us anything new. It was all like, here's stuff we're making, no big drop. Hey, Wonder Man's getting a movie trilogy now, nothing like that. No, like, the Nova series is going into pre-production, which, we all like that stuff. It gives us stuff to talk about and anticipate, and, maybe this was a overcorrection from past times when they, announced entire phases over the span of 6 years, all the stuff that was coming out. It's okay to slow down, but give us something. Give us something to talk about and be, excited about. We don't need to hear Catherine Hahn singing, the Witch's Road song, at every... not that it's bad. I listen to it. It's better than, The Power of One.
The power of two. The power of Manny. And they were right. It was Manny. Anyway. What was I going to say? Dang ADHD. I had a thought for you. And it just jumped out of my head.
I told that joke at my kid's doctor's appointment. I said, my doctor said I had ADHD. I don't know what HD is, but I got 80 of them.
That's right.
Him and the nurse just looked at me and was like, okay, dude, you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
But that's
What
it.
is the last thing you talked about? I wanted to enter some information.
We talked about Marvel Zombies?
No. I'm sorry to do this on air. I just can't remember. Dang it.
It happens.
Sometimes. Yeah, you get a brain fart. What are you going to do? Well, obviously we weren't going to get anything here for anything other than Disney, but let's shift over to, like, as long as we're just my fellow nerds right now. We got the Penguin coming out in September.
Yeah, September 19th, the day after Agatha All Along. My brain was squishing right there. I'm like,
Yeah, you're having the same problem I am. you know, can't wait for those. I think the Penguin's going to be the better series. It just looks incredible, and oh, that's what I was going to talk about. Was have you? I know you said you were watching. Did you finish Batman the animated series on Prime?
Oh yeah, Batman Cape Crusader. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm done. Did you finish it?
I did not. I'm on episode 5, but it's incredible. I love the writing, like just like in my graphic novels that I have, they're including all the characters all at the same time, and they all have their own little parts. It's so awesome when they do that. I don't think I've seen any other character written that way, and that's why I like the Batman comics so much. It just factors all the villains into everything they do.
Yeah. Even though kind of the Harvey's story was kind of the main theme of season one, you get the Penguin in there, you get Catwoman, you get
Harley Quinn,
Clayface.
yeah, you get Barbara, you get everybody. I don't like the shading so much on that show because it's kind of dark. Like sometimes I can't make it out because I'm watching late at night in my room. But it's kind of the shading leaves it kind of dark. But the whole plot line and everything, I love. Like they got Flash, they got Bullock, and all these people were in the movies,
Yep.
and I love it. I love how they incorporate them all, no matter what stage. I haven't, obviously haven't seen the Joker on the show, but Harley's already acting kind of loopy, you know, but she hasn't become Harley Quinn. Well, she is Harley Quinn, but she didn't have the same kind of origin story.
Well, she still may have that same origin story, but she just started. She was kind of a villain prior to, but she could still kind of have that same thing once the Joker is introduced, and maybe have that same issue. But yeah, I kind of liked it. Wasn't like that's not Harley Quinn. I was like, okay, that's a good take on her, and I like she's still a villain prior to the issues that she had past then, so it could work out. Not Ed Brubaker, is like the main writer and executive producer, and I love his comics. He does such a good job, and it really shows in the writing for the series. And like you said, you get a kind of villain of the week kind of stuff, but you sort of have the overarching story also, which is the right way to go. It was funny because I couldn't stop watching it. Like every free minute, I was like, oh shit, I can probably work in a Batman Cape Crusader right now.
Yeah, and it shows that, like in Gotham, the way things really would be is Batman has to deal with multiple things at the same time. It's not just like when you have a movie, you got to focus on the villain and the protagonist. I get that, but on the series, you can show that he's dealing with multiple things at the same time. I love it.
Yep.
And I love the whole, when you get it, even when you first opening credits, it gives you that noir feel, and I love that. It takes me back. It makes me feel, I don't know when this is supposed to be set, like obviously not modern day, but the way where it's set, I just love the way it's all set up.
No, it is cool. It's like a 1940s and stuff, and that's fantastic.
Well, do we have any other topics to go over?
No, I don't think we do. I honestly, it was funny when planning out for this. I thought we'd have so much to talk about, and they really kept it to a minimum. I mean, we didn't get a lot of new information. Normally they'll talk about, if they talk about Captain America: Brave New World at San Diego Comic-Con, they'll give some new stuff for D23, and they really didn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, they talked only movies at San Diego Comic-Con, and we did get a couple shows in here. We got Daredevil, Ironheart, Agatha. Then we got the animated stuff. But we definitely.
Yeah, I mean, my advice to them is like either go back to San Diego Comic Con with all your stuff, or put a little gap in between. That wasn't very, what was that, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
Put a little gap in there.
But they always, they always have D23 around this time, and it's not, we may only talk about the Marvel and stuff, but they had a Pixar, like they talked about there's a I can't remember the name of it now, but like the Inside Out Pixar group is working on an animated series for it. There's a few new Pixar movies coming out. You know, they talked about Frozen 3 and Frozen 4 coming out. They talked about Toy Story 5. They announced The Incredibles 3, which is awesome news.
Oh, Avatar.
And
as well,
Avatar,
right?
yep. And they talked about a lot more. We just, are more focused on the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. And they talked about new theme parks, rides and changes to the park. So it's more than just what we talk about, but yeah. They did release the Fantastic Four theme, which is pretty good.
Theme?
The what?
You mean like orchestral theme?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The guy who directed
Very
I almost said Daredevil by Night, Werewolf by Night. He's doing it. It sounds really good. It's pretty good stuff. But don't forget, this Thursday, our At the Theater review for Alien Romulus. And then, starting next Sunday, a week from today, we are going to start talking Death Note. Which
Yes,
is
sir.
part of our anime for beginners. I'm sure Doug is not a beginner, and neither is Sierra, who will probably be joining us for this. But Dave and I are. We watch Cowboy Bebop now and Uncle from Another World.
Yeah, kind of.
And now, yeah, some of it. And now we're starting Death Note, so it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But that'll be next Sunday, and then we'll be doing a couple streams with Death Note until Agatha and the Penguin premiere. Unless something jumps up, maybe we'll get the Daredevil trailer drop and we can talk about. But until then, we should probably find somebody to raid. I would say you people on YouTube, all what it is, but we're not even streaming on YouTube right now, so we don't got to worry about it.
Right. Well, we got Flake of Wrath.
We also have
playing
CW Devarian, who's playing Dragon Agent Inquisition. Bubble is playing Elden Ring. Yeah, Flake of Wrath is playing Call of Duty.
They got 5 people. What's Bubble got? I don't even see Bubble on here.
166.
No, we can do Bubble. We can do Michael Bublé. Good night, Carrie. You said good night.
Yep, good night, Carrie. Thank you. So I can't believe they're doing a Toy Story 5. Yeah, and it's kind of, I guess the plot is going to be like the toys being kind of ignored because of electronics and things. So, it could be, it's basically going to be the toys versus Skibbity Toilet. So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes. We're going to start the raid here, and that means we're going to show the outro. Thanks everybody for coming out. Don't forget to see us Thursday night at our At the Theater review for Alien Romulus, and we'll see you guys all soon.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.